A lot of peeps. Was making sure everything was working over here. I think is everything but my voice, apparently. So anyway, and I'm finally trying to get warm enough to tolerate my ice eating and whatnot, because I'm thirsting to death and ice is still the best thing coming or going, right? Excuse me. But, um, I just got in not too long ago and got back into all the warm, comfy things and a new hoodie and etc. and all the stuff. Cause it like is it's one of those nights where going outside or anything like that. Um, it's like that weird type of humid and I wouldn't say weird, but the humidity and things and then the fog and everything is just like trapped in just full on blanket of and it's got that first fall chill to the humidity and it gets a little brutal on the bones of the body and clothing. Like you end up soaking wet and freezing simultaneously. It has been a beautiful night though. Not quite a full moon obviously, but it's brilliantly bright. It is somehow wobbling up like fog, the overcast nature, it just scatters it, but it's almost like it grows the light instead of hides it, you know. So all the hollows tonight are lit up. The amount of fog though is astounding. And very thick. Seems to be higher coverage than lower. Anyway, point is, so as it'll leave you chilled to the bones type of foggy, humid weather night, and you just can't quite. So look, had to come back in and do hot soup if that tells you anything. It was like hell. And then I had to cuddle it for a minute and then eat. It's like no. And then whether to get warm by it or eat it and get warm no. I was like, I don't know, I'm torn. Yeah. Anyway, so it's one of those nights. Definitely one of those perfect stay in nights. Read a book, eat soup anyway. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't necessarily get to do that. So, I went monkeying about. And so watched, no. Doesn't matter. Um, no, just got mama talking. Saying, nope, not even gonna say that. It's fine. Just gonna stay in my corner and I'm gonna laugh. Alright, I'm just gonna laugh. In a way. Tragically. Like, who could have thought that was coming? That way. And I realized that, it was just enough there to connect and do what needs to be done and, put together exactly what I learned forever ago was. And, inevitably know that what will have to be done to, whatever will be. And, all things as they are right now. Yeah, whatnot. I'm just not. Details around. But, you know, essentially just this group doing what they've always done. Destroying, contaminating, getting rid of, etc. Blah, blah, blah. In this particular instance, it don't matter. Like most things here, they don't know what they're fucking with. How it's fucking back with them, destroyed, contaminated, or otherwise, it ain't gonna make shit in the end. And, I mean, it does. It's not how I mean, that portion matters. I mostly mean for the tragedy films and criminals and whatnot in the little group organization here online. It's just one more piece. At least as far as I'm concerned, that proves ain't nobody motherfucking wrong about them. And just more proof. Top to bottom, my dudes. Either way, I don't give a fuck. I always be trying shit though. With all the things. God, somebody's trying hard. I wish y'all could see it from my side over here. Somebody is trying so goddamn hard this morning to get all the no dictionary back there. And they're just being held for review, held for review, held for review. They trying. They're putting a fucking intentional, purposeful scent troll too goddamn early for their asses on it. They're trying hard though. Somebody's in their feels. I'm not. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, when you see him, doing whatever the fuck it is they're doing, not the troll, cause even I don't have to look at this shit more, I just know, you know, oh, well, good for you, whoever the fuck you are, that can't spell subbing, you know that's two B's, I know, anyway, it's always two at a time. So anyway, um, it's too early for y'all shit. Go fuck on sport. So anyway, they've always, I don't know, they hear little things, they think little things, they do whatever. Hell, they trigger their own selves over it. And then they just do all the little things. And then they think, yeah, they just do stupid shit. Okay? And then their whole Pomeranian fucking cheese wrapper better to be the first at this, right? Because that's the only way they think, is that then it'll get ahead of or advance, and no, it won't. And then it'll make them look like blah blah, and other things look like no. And in the end, it's only going to serve to rip masks and faces off and prove what they've been doing. And all that. And they think they can get ahead of and cleanse and do whatever that way, or have certain things or whatever. Yeah. No. 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 It's just gonna lean to the massive fuck you at some point. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I guess not. No, it takes, you don't have to click buttons sometimes. You just gotta look at a fucking title. You're like, oh. And then you hear somewhere on the block. You know. And you're like, oh. Oh. Or you already know in advance of. How many years is that shit in the making? Oh dear. Sorry, I'm a little choked up. Anyway. So whatever, right? Um, what I really wanted to touch on this morning, and y'all, I was getting to come on here. That's the reason I was late this morning. I had I'm always late here for the most part, but this morning I had like 19 devices I had to ready and whatever, and as I flicked them back on, everything starts auto fucking playing from everywhere, and I'm like, and everything is paused again or whatever from wherever I left, whatever it's last time. And I paused one thing. I thought I'd pause, and I keep hearing the same fucking voice, y'all. And I'm like, I just paused that one. Where the fuck is the other open thing? I don't know, it was coming from my whole ass other device. So I was like, wait a minute. But it's just the same goddamn voice I was just hearing, but oh my gosh. Under an entirely different name and identity. Oh no! Not again. It was like shit. Sometimes the universe just lines up like that, right? And so I was like, it took me a minute. I was like, hold on. Pause, pause, and pause. Play, pause, back and forth. I was like, oh yeah, that's what we have here once again. Oh, but see, it's a big thing this time. It's been something. I wasn't actually working on the matchup set, so that's not what I was at. I was after something else for certain things. Well, two different things. But then the universe just came together like that and they gave me another giant fucking thing. It goes back with another giant fucking thing that I've been hunting down for years. And then there it is. Right, dead ass. And it just happened to be that turned out like that. Yeah. So I was like, oh! It's my morning, so I'm feeling a little good about it. I was like, damn, did not expect that. Wasn't even asking or looking for that, but fuck yeah, man, it was, but that wasn't, and I was after other things. Like, I was like, holy shit. And that it played into something else I've been deep dive hunting for a while. And there it is. There it fucking is. I'm like, oh! And then knowing how well it's gonna rip the absolute entire fucking face off of one of your main pristine players. Holy shit. I don't know, man. People are goofy as fuck. The little helpers of them are even goofier. And Lord, knowing the cleanse job they put on that one to try to, oh no. Wah, wah, wah. You forgot a few things. You know, the fact that some people might just be downloading the whole time. Not giving a shit until it's time to go through all things. Ha! Yeah. Wait a minute. It's time now. Starting to be that way anyway. Yeah. I'd assume, it's starting to be. I'm starting to gear up for that anyway. That's what I'd assume. And I don't really feel all that good. I'm still wearing that out. I really did push it the other day. I'm getting old. I'm so many years older than when I first came here. Get the fuck up. So, still sort of resting it. It's like, damn, it feels like it's been days since I was out there. And I come back and it still says one day, and I was like, shit, I don't feel like that. But anyway, say I'll take a bit of, try to, break over the next. You know what? I can't say that. I'm not gonna say it, because you just never know. Because even if I don't feel like it, I'll love less sometimes. Still drag my ass over it, right? And be like, I don't feel like even existing, but life button, So anyway, it depends when it shakes. But what I came on here is born about. Alright, as we begin what may or may not end up being a series, depending on when and where I gotta lay it down for how long, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I'd say there's a good possibility that some shit's gonna be said or shown or played in the very near future. So, we'll say series for now. We'll come and go from it as needed. I don't know. So anyway, right? Let me see. Starting to feel like PT. Right. Oh Lord. Uh, I hear there's Scamathon festivals in full tilt over in some Flappy Ass Jacks territory. Heard somebody's making up some sort of goddamn nonsense cult propaganda style to rotate all the bullshit right now. Um, Here tellers people all like, the fuck is this thing you put up, GSP? What's it mean? I don't know, what does it mean? Blue dot, blue barrel, I don't know, back cards, something I just felt like. You just never know. Anyway, receipts, years in the making. Held things, and you just never know sometimes how it works. So, I don't know. Felt like it on average fucking Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whenever the hell it felt like it. I hear there's something Epstein style about something lately. I swear to God, I was sent something from one of them worst psychopath fucking bitches, right? Sociopathic, weirdo, skin walking fucking freak bags around the like totally creeped me and my family. I was like, see, this is the shit. This is the shit. And they're like, holy shit, that bitch is wackadoodle. I timed it back to a certain thing. I don't know. You can tell clearly what they're around and hiding around because they're shit. I get the Epstein. Like, I did. I was like, I told you. Been telling you for years. It's something, woo off with that. God damn. How tragic. Sad. So anyway, which leads me to where I'm going this morning. God. Ugh. Lord. About them bougie ass motherfuckers. Is what I did. And I did so on purpose so that I could keep it down a bit. Well, everything's not quite okay, but Lord. Goddamn things are strong enough to kill fucking moose. They're disgusting. Ugh. I just. Woo, right? Lord mercy. So anyway, squirrel. Speaking of squirrels and things, in case y'all wondering about the thumbnail, just randomly selected that this morning. It was like speed running through images. I'm like, fuck it. Now, I have like 9 billion back there just like it from all over the place and many people throughout many years. Uh, it doesn't, that particular, it just, I can't remember who sent it and where along the lines. Who wrote it, I don't even know. I know a lot of the times I would get those throughout the years from others and group seeing, yeah, it just depends on who sends what this. I mean, there are others like these, um, but better, and real. But they come from the community around here in real life, and B-roll stuff and everything else. But um, and whatnot, and this tragedy pimps and those visitor come and go from town or try to hunt while being hunted. Yeah, all that shit. That in particular is off the news, but I have a million like it. Sometimes, I've been sitting them to see if I actually know who's who, or if I already know, or to test this. But sometimes it's because others I think I don't know, or so there are a few things off over there. But and then sometimes it's to see if you'll do certain things. I just tend to mostly ignore it. I don't do the testing thing either. Never did figure as much anybody's business as I knew or don't know, or I don't know. What's right, what's wrong, what's this, what's that, who's who, I always try to do something. Sometimes not, though. Some just want to know. They ask or I say, yeah, it just depends. So, that just had to be one of the random ass ones back there from probably from that particular year. And their whole tragedy get together circuit. Right. Is they're fucking monsters and like, oh, but butterflies. Like, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. You bunch of demons. So anyway. So I think that was one of the last ones. Latasha Enat / Fizzle and Penny there was that. Anyway, but yeah. Uh, and then of course they're always curious as to which one's actually PG or which one's Squall or it's better to have the back images or footage or whatever exists of the ones who want to stay off camera. Or the recordings of them all chit chatting as people just walk through public parks and things. Whatever. Random restaurants where they happen to me. All the things, right? It's like a local sport. Hunting the wannabe hunter tragedy members. It's great. Everybody around like, go fish. Which cards you got today? Let's trade them. So, anyway. It's better to have that shit. Speaking of which, I know I'm scrolling again. It's fine. We'll get back in the southern driveway in just a second. There's a weird ass piece come on. I don't know, a few days back, a week or two ago. This time, so, look, the mountain things. It's just so perplexing. I can see it's a one of those pieces at the times might seem long, did whatever. I mean, hell, everything just abouts like that. There's definitely certain times, certain reasons, just like always with them. But this one is still like looking at it. Yeah, it's like even now, I'm like, the fuck is this Virginia shit on this? You know? It's like I don't. Man, I'm telling you what. That one is still days later. The fuck were they gonna go with this? Like, the hell is this? Why did they? Why did this person say to do it? Which I'm sure at the time it was supposed to trigger me into like getting involved in some sort of horse shit over here, whatever they were misleading, directing, chaos, whatever. And I tried my best not to. It's like, bro, no, you know, and yeah, it gets you going way elsewhere, and I just generally try to ignore those types of pieces. I don't know, but then yeah, they try to gear you certain directions or to have it on your mind so it comes out of your mouth or you start talking about something like that. It's just so manipulative around here, you know? It's crazy. But I catch this piece too in the past few days that one of these jackasses looks like bro way before we were in public or even knew what the fuck a shell was. God, there really needs to be pamphlets handed out in any active case, like within the first seconds. And I really want a petition made to where all police vehicles have to carry anti-tragedy pamphlets and hand them out at crime scenes they think are gonna turn into something and be like, here, read this. If you're on good, avoid all things. And this is how, and this is what you can expect. I need that in the world. So anyway, oh God, that's disgusting. Can't even with it. So yeah, I'm like, but I see one of these main jackasses in here. Uh, Several months prior to when, I mean, like, almost half a year prior. And I'm like, they're just certain massive things, right? I still probably didn't really did it. But they really just, it wowed me out. It was like, holy shit. You know, like, there wasn't even a pause in it, and the damage that, like, I can't. I'm like, oh my god. They just straight out at who told on who and how, what, and to what lengths, and then now this many, you look at it, and you're like, oh my god, it's like, there's this thing, and then how it's playing out in those first few days and weeks in real life. And really how all of us are being talked to, what we were talked to about, all these things, And then to have another piece of that and how it was done and by whom, and then over the years gathering more pieces for that, and like, God. And not dark and dirty, just, it's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up. while. But anyway, so what I came here about this morning was some stuff along all these lines. Sort of all goes together in its own little way. No, it sort of does. And Lord, my eyes are already crossing out. I think that fucking cigarette did it. Who needs fucking oxygen? My body's like, bitch, you ain't got enough right now. Let's stop that. Shit. So anyway, I'm like, this part of it's just eating too. It's fuck it. Anyway, oh my god, yeah. I may just turn it off and rest and work on the easier things. Pounds, browse about, and do the research, little shit and all that. God damn. Swear to it. Yeah, alright. So anyway, I wanted to touch a bit on group and calling it out as always, right? In all the ways. Oh my god, shocker. So, anyway, it's the little things, right? The shit that make into giant things. Shit they use to build and catapults off of, and the crap they do to you on this the other. So, oh dear, I'm stuck in one of those word cycles again. Oh, I know what it is too. This time it's a little small. Little isn't a word cycle. It's that group family type of word cycling, it's singular, and then you get any friends, things like that. Little's done it to me this time. She's been on a right and a like cycle. So now it's here. We've been contaminated by Little. And I've been wild enough, like, you don't have to say right, ever. Don't do that. What are you doing? It's like, oh, I heard myself doing it. I was like, see. And now that I've said that to her about her, now I'm doing it. I've been contaminated. So anyway. Oh. Now I'm not gonna stop. Lord, we're never getting anywhere this morning. Then you have to send the trolls. I'm gonna troll the shit on myself. I'm gonna rickroll myself into oblivion. So anyway. Oh! Yep. Rickrolling oneself. That's what's up. Oh, it's... It's downright damn hilarious. It's lovely being human, isn't it? The weird shit on our brains. Things do for all the strangest of reasons, and not strange. it's intriguing. Very cool, some aspects in regards. You know, I don't know. It's wonderful being human, but it's also goofy. We're figuring out how we all tick or why. It's interesting. Alright, so. I I just wondered, like, yeah, from the beginning, as I watched all of them, I remember all the cycles, how the creators would. I mean, if you've been here the whole. Well, I can't say whole because I've not been here. You know, some of the most long lived and still yet so propaganda bullshit, mindfuckery of um, narrating schemes, some of the most prevalent bullshit. That all these creators can't say there are really any who haven't participated in this as a way to fuck with you all and to keep y'all from the truth and what they're all really doing and how they're doing it together and how they function. But then it's right there in front of your faces, right? They just sell it to you a different way. And then make like, it's these very small things that they make, look, how do then they use it for content and in ways to bring you all in further and to sell these cases every time I see Summers especially. Uh, yeah, I remember all the years spent, and even still they do this. I still see it, hear it. Uh, it's kind of quote died down a bit these days. Um, Depends, especially on which culty channel you're watching, or propaganda one, or you know, which one of these fuckers you're watching at this point. But yeah, I remember like some of the most massive bullshit summers was always that. Uh, like, oh my god, this camp was started 3 days before summer vacation. Oh my god, 2 weeks after holy shit, it was this or that, the account start dates and stuff. For some creators, and a whole lot of the fairy little weasel helpers on the grounds, or community members, or this or right. And then these creators use it to make y'all like buy the whole conspiracy theories of, oh well, Brad or whoever they must be involved or around on or whatever this the other involved somehow or taken off us or whatever all these things are, right? Whatever lunacy they want to feed you on. And then it's especially helpful to them if they can use that to help annihilate, target, torment what they themselves have built up and want to get rid of, or leave holding their criminal little handbags as, their hands look clean, right? And you're like, oh, well, that's just fine. And you all don't blink an eye at it. And then you also watch, I don't know, those like BK or TM or any of the rest of them, you know, do that with certain characters in around Summer's case, right? Or the locals they've used. Um, as ways of pretending they're ultimate detectives, they're onto something, or they're out in all the stuff around and all these suspect characters, and look, so and so must be linked to a Brad or this or that or a Linda or a blah blah blah, and oh, all these people must know one another, and look at all these account start dates. Raise your hand if you know how much of a giant role all that shit is played in, right? And been able to be semi glue or low tide season Treasure Pimp Con Festival and Cash Cow for all of them. Raise your hand. Right. And it's all a lie. A facade. A man behind the curtain. All of it. You know where these tragedies, they'll be like, oh, well, this local person, like Brad or so, or this one or that one, or the Scott or somebody, they just randomly popped up and they just had a new account, or they just started a new channel 3 days after summer and all this shit, right? I don't know how they ended up here, or Scott ended up with Discord, or why was this, or why that, and then why they mix all that up in each of the cycles they go through, right? On trying to blame it on this one, confuse y'all, retie, stamp, cleanse. Then inevitably they pull out the handy dandy notebook and they're like, oh well, it's been a couple months, it's time to revisit this. We did this exact same thing 3 times this same time last year, right? And they'll bring it back up. They'll bring in more receipts, see who knows what by that point. Try to cleanse some more, bow tie, seal it up, pretend it's all gonna go away, and then they bring it back again and again and again, right? Just in different ways, and then it helps confuse origins and points people eventually get tired of tracking it down or even thinking about, I don't know, it's. Look at fucking Ernie over, like, Jesus Christ, right? Although Ernie's something entirely different in a way than the rest. But and but do y'all know why? The most simple, most Occam's razor answer, right? That they did not want you to come to the conclusion yourself ever of. You know what it is? Why might all of these characters have known one another? Been able to start accounts that soon, or new ones right after, or right before the summer vanished, and all these things. Or why were they already up in discords? Right? And if you're in the special ones, you didn't get there overnight. You didn't just ask for an invite and get them. Why are you coming from the McDonald's, the Duty Rons, this year? Why are you already in cahooting with everybody? Well, why do you already know the coffin doffers and this one, that one, and the other? Well, why is that? Why are you already with the databasers and all that shit and already in the know? You know, nobody ever stops put together. In this area in particular, around Summers, and now Leyland Hollins, why and how do you think all those things were? But they kept it ramped up for so many years at a certain pace to where you never thought about the most simple answer of all. Instead, and the love of fucking misinformation, disinformation, propaganda, QAnon, conspiracy theory, save the baby's woo, bat shittery, um, you're more likely to go along with all that shit. Oh, and then what all they've tied in and made things that aren't things, but yeah, whatever. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they already had motherfuckers fucking around ready to take up a flyer, do this, do that? Seems quite knowledgeable on how to play tragedy pimp games. Immediately start driving by Ben Hill and Beach Creek in seconds. Well, there was already local, I guess, YouTubers already in touch around these sons of bitches. Uh, and then, their whole just happened to do ride-alongs to the meadows and what they offered, and all this bullshit. Right? Why do you think all the things and people like that existed? Came and only just pop up from nowhere, but they're dead, all these things. All the little things. Why do you think that is? I mean, I know across the country, well, the world for that matter, though the rest of the world is not as bad as the U.S. for concerned this type of shit, because the U.S. just lets these motherfuckers balls to the walls, right? Even those internationally, but they cannot legally do that in their own countries because their laws and citizens are like, ew, that's disgusting. We don't do that here. No, no. There'll be real punishment if they do. So U.S. is just wild, wild west. Anyway, and that's a problem. That's a fucking problem. So anyway, yeah, I mean, in every place you're gonna find people and weirdos and conspiracy eaters and QAnon believers and more. That'll come out. They'll play with tragedy pimps. They'll be like, hey, can I help y'all? And I just love all the missing baby channels and all that shit, right? Yeah, whatever. Save the babies and the women. Fox News tells me they're all disappearing 10,000 a day. Right from my backyard. So anyway, but what's the simplest answer here? You know what the simplest damn answer is? Boswell. I'll give y'all a minute. I'll give you a minute to think about it. Real hard. Yep, there's why. It wasn't nothing ever conspiracy driven by it. Wasn't no, oh my god, people are connected to this, da da da. YouTuber, local creator channel, they say right before, right after, la la. Da 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 da. Oh my god, it must mean JSP knows this one, or Andy knows that one, or Fred knows this creator, whatever, la 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 la. Or these people on the ground, they're all part of the cornbread and everything else, right? Which don't get me wrong. Obviously, you can see most of the ones that Tragedy Pimps got to do all this fuck work for them are obviously drug addicts, criminals, etc. So yeah, they're gonna have ties in or any drug movements. Duh, or else you think they're getting their fucking dope or getting high at or doing their criminal. I mean, come on. But that don't mean everybody's like cahoot. Only one's cahooting are you tragedy pimps who got dumbass junkies and otherwise and idiots and well others, because there are a few working with the tragedy pimps who are a little more buttoned up and they're fun. They don't get me wrong. They've been there. And they were already there. They were all built in and around and cahooting with one another in Boston. Because it was high profile. Still is, like I said. Right? A lot of those, the reason you had the new channels being built just within days of, or, before or after, is because they were rewarded after their dirty work and their little slinking around and researching and sitting in court and do whatever fuck shit was Boswells are doing around here. Trying to. I think they're kept from being able to make it a goddamn circus as much as shit. Swear to God. But they're still trying. Don't make any mistake about that. Right? Even though things stand as they stand right now, they still trying. A lot of them are pretty proud of themselves for little rolls in or getting away with their fucker around Boswell's too. I just don't know. Look, we're a part of that in the background. Anyway, so there they all are, right? Some of them, like always, throughout each of these cases, what you will see is just like, okay, from Summers to Sebastians, you get the little shit stains, the helpers, the doers, the researchers, these pathetic bitches who are like, give me back my Blue Ridge, get apples. Oh, look here, creator, I stepped for 6 days in a row on crack cocaine, getting you all the pieces and clips. That way you don't do any real work, dear creator. And then you just get to go on live and do all things. And then, can I have my own channel this time? When somebody goes, Mr. Murder, am I rewarded yet? And then they get help building up their channel after the dirty deeds and all that are done, and all their work pays off. They're like unpaid interns of patheticness. Alright? Some of them get roped into doing some real dirty foul shit that can get them in real foul ass trouble as well along the line, and then figure that out. And they're like, fuck, there's no way. So they just gotta keep over here or something. I don't know what that's about. But do you think they'd be like, no, pull out now? But, anyway. No, there's a reason they all knew each other, know each other. Same reason, from Summers to Sebastians that you see. They're rewarded with channels. So they stopped the other ones, or they started new YouTube, they started social media accounts in different ways. And then these creators built them. They wanted cleansed accounts, they wanted clean new whatevers. It falls back into criminal shit too. Like, most criminals are monsters. They don't like living in a realm of receipts or, anything like that or anything else. Their race, take down, change this, change that. So all the accounts they did use in Boswell's and others, poofed or closed down, or you never even realized it was the same people. Then they come out in summers, and some are built in it, and it's and for it, whatever. Um, and it's the same thing. Same thing as going on where it concerns Sebastian's, Layla's Talians, a whole lot of these new ones, like, you know, that took over in Sebastian's. They weren't new. They've been around here, around these streets for sometimes like 10 years or more. I mean, like, it depends on what level. In all these cases, being little researchers, top mods, helpful carnival barking, chat scamming, fake panelists, this, that, and the other motherfuckers for years under many names, identities, you know. And it didn't take nice little feds and others around Quentin Simons to make me aware of that. There really are. You do have some bitches over here like legit 7 bought identities deep, and I just don't mean that in a way of, oh, they started a new YouTube under a cute new name either. I mean, these motherfuckers out here buying and selling social security numbers and birth certificates and shit, alright? You feel me? So, yeah, yeah. I know for some of these characters, I know even L easily with them because they're like 17 identities deep and they know it, but they're trying to get to the bottom and the real ones. So, yeah, so there's that. But yeah, it's a pretty simple answer, but in its simplicity, once you realize that, it fucks them all up in a particular way they can't come back from. And then once you're aware of it, you can't be unaware of it any longer. And then you can start seeing it, picking out how it's working, how it's going in each case. Then if the public is aware of things like that, or those are in other cases they're in, well, by God, they don't want that, because then their game will fall apart too early, right? They're all criminaling, they're web sleuthing. You know, being able to get here and do this shit to you all and in around law enforcement, real cases, communities, to other witnesses. Yeah, they don't want that. It's the simplest key of them all. All these and fucking Sebastians were built by these. These are still overseeing, you know, and into, but they can only use. And some of the bigger creators in this one, they're not gonna let the channels they build go. Right? They're not gonna do that. They might go by other identities, different voices, whatever, but they're gonna keep hanging on to a lot of these. And they can't keep being the face of the voiceover. Too fresh people recognize, they catch on, and each cycle they go through, they try to get a little cleaner, a little bit more nuanced, a little less catchable, you know, everything in organization on the ground outside of the boxes would do. It's not as complicated as it appears. It does make it a bit more complicated because of their ways of communication here on all these platforms, social media, etc. You know, they know that Lost Tech haven't quite admitted to. I mean, it's why so many are here. And, you know, why they do with it. They're less likely to face any consequences or repercussions from it. Law enforcement have time to suss out everything, little nuance, yeah, put out all the things, you know. Especially when they're trying so hard and desperately to work real cases, you know. And they know how overwhelming it can be. To just, well, it is, even to the average person, when you get this much of a succubus over here going and it seems so woo-woo batshit to any regular person walking here, like, you know. And let's be real, we're living in an age of all the bad. Online and media and mindfuckery and propaganda and now AI. It's like, bro, give us all breath before you come out with a new thing, you know, to fuck us all up. And to make everybody sound woo-woo. Alright, but make no mistake, there's real woo-woo. There's real woo-woo. Alright, and those people are the worst. It's terrible what this realm does to those who are so susceptible to it. And how they use them, because damned if they don't around here. They like their wobos. So anyway, um, but yeah, so it's pretty simple. How they function, what they do, how they do it. There's no conspiracy theory needed. There's no, man, that's so far out there. That can't be. No, no, no. It's that, it's pretty simple when you think. Rinse, repeat. Right? But yeah, all this around Summers and Layla's Halloweens. Now, unfortunately, I love it. The least around here in the Tri area, it was already built up in there and existed so well, and to come into Summers in the way that it did, probably wouldn't have been half so harmful or as much of a circus had there already not been a pre-built bunch of motherfucking around or trying to impossible, but they were not really allowed to. Therefore, for the most part, they were unused, therefore unknown public, and all the things. A whole lot of their circus temps were shut down, thank God. And so they weren't really known to a whole bunch, or the world. And but they were sitting back there just chilling out and all the fuckery, Discord servers, wherever else, and on the ground and locally and whatever, in connection with these tragedy pimps. And were used to some degree or another, but so they were pretty well together in a unit, right? Uh, in a way, from Boswell's. And then when they slammed into Summers, they already knew how the game was working. They were kind of in a humdrum, dull boredom state together. Even though they were in the Discords and this and da of those like McDonald's and ABs and Duty Runs and Coffee Talk, all these things, they were just chilling back here and just sort of watching other cases around the country that they weren't needed in or couldn't be used in, things like that. So they were just sitting back there chilling, but in the same way they were remaining connected. So when Summer vanished, they come out full tilt in a way that most cases they can't, because it takes a bit to start getting together the new faces of whoever are selected or picked, or they see chat or people out in the world responding to more, and then help build up those channels of those who previously were used for other means, purposes, etc. in other cases. So it takes a while to get them up off the ground and being built real good. It takes a bit to find all the Eileens and the Brads and the Cams and all and put them together, and to get little snoopers. It's like they think Bullhorn's the only one responsible, and of course, no, she's still got goddamn people on the ground. Y'all know it with this team. Meanwhile, she's sitting there by herself, and there's a million Eileens still doing the dirty work for the group, right? Y'all know it, I know it, everybody has half brain knows. But yeah, we've always got the little helpers, But it takes a while to get that shit together, cohesive, all of them communicate in ways, everybody get the hint, wink, nod at what they're supposed to be doing, keeping creators safe, keeping law from edging up Ron 2, or families, witnesses, all the people know about all the shit, right? And that way they can insert real good. I mean, so it takes a bit to get all those things in place, as well as, but everywhere across the country, you're always got somebody willing to do some stupid shit, or go pretend to be something, or drive by, or stalk, or take pics of, and do all the fucking crazy criminal shit on the ground for them, and whatever else, right? The locals are in services or courthouses, they can figure it out, or, hospitals or whatever it is that they need them for, and figure out who's who around the world to try to bring them into the groups here. And it takes a bit. So, all that being said, it's there's your simple answer. You remember all the times all these creators, all of them, because I can't really think of any that didn't do it. But this count started right before, or right after. And then this one must link to that one, this one, that one. And of course, around areas like this, and just like any case, they can always do that as a means of conspiracy or to toss away something that's getting a little too dirty or law enforcement will be looking at or whatever, too. And to make you all think they're sus of something and then just do away with it and y'all never blink an eye at it, right? But it's their way of actually getting rid of and disposing of evidence of their crimes. Now they're using people in and around these crimes to pull more crime. You get what I'm saying? Making sense. The math working out for you. But, yeah, so you're always gonna, so it's not gonna matter what community, whether it's these hills and hollers where everybody sounds like they're ignorant and uneducated because of our accents or certain. No, it's gonna be the same every case across the US. When you use locals, and you use this person, local YouTubers that, you use this and that, and you build up certain. They're always going to be able to use that as a way of content, plus a way to rid themselves of the evidence once the creators and the big boys and the investment teams are done using the shit out of them. So if anything ever does catch up, it'll hopefully just be left on some poor slob who just wanted a YouTube or boredom or cry cut money or thought they were helping some poor little hashtag child or woman, and wound up in all their shit before they even knew it. And what kind of criminal shit it actually was, right? Or taken to court by families, law enforcement, community members, witnesses, whoever else they fucked around with. It'll be those idiots. Can I have my rent? Oh God, I just thought I'd make $100 for a tragedy pin to buy a crack rock with and keep my face off camera and I'd be a hero for billboards and it was just gonna be as quick money. I didn't realize. Right? It's like watching Harrow, right? One of the most disheartening moments. And I didn't keep up. Serious as a fucking heart attack. In the way that you all did it, come on. All it takes are titles and blips, and to see or hear any, few sentences out of a real newspaper article and stuff. And that's as I look through others or keep up the others and what y'all are doing in those and who's playing what. Still, when I'm looking for something, I go to real news media and sources first. Then, all it really takes is a glance for in here to figure out who's what, look at the chat, see who's what, alternate names, fake panelists, voices of, yada yada, to suss out who and what roles are in the crowd, and it's pretty quick. And then you get the whole investment team and all the things come into play again and all that. And then they bring in creators that are already existing in the areas. Then it's basically just you look at who's being shared and what their roles are, which cases they've been involved in some way or how they were built up, and you just put that back. But, so really don't have to, protect. So, and I try not to. I don't want to see and hear nor am I entertained by the worst things on earth done to the most vulnerable or at risk amongst us as human beings. And that's not entertaining for me. And of course, you have to glance at and be aware of, cognizant of, in order to even hunt you on some news that gets overwhelmed. Anyway, so in Heroes, right after Dolly and other dick shit and whatever passed on the concrete and took Detective Times away, being like, "Oh, his little boo boo on the back of the fucking head," and Dolly be like, "I got a wreck, somebody bought me yesterday because I just jumped my ass there in the middle of the desert area and not prepared." Despite all the things y'all bought him over the years, you know, Jesus, Lord Almighty. But anyway, so all those assholes, right? And there a few days back when I was like, huh. And I'll get to that because there's something wrong there and more to it than meets the eye. And all of it, all of you all still, the people who played it for this, I just, some big shit there. I still want to know how certain people up here got their little hands on certain other shit. Now, I've gotten some shit that shows me how the path lined up for that. But I think it very much did play into forcing Ellie's hand before Ellie's. Either way, I just wanted to know. It's just curious. I'm still sussing that out. In between everything else. But, so I was listening very closely to law enforcement's wording on Twitter. After I already had my own thoughts immediately upon seeing, I was like, oh, this is bad. Something's bad. But it's what you tragedy pimps play. It's fucking squirrel. But one of the most disheartening things is, it's like, I know journalists, real ones, they don't actually like tragedy pimps. They don't think y'all are cool or neat. They fucking hate seeing you son of a bitches hit anywhere near anything in their town's area and on cases. They often go to school and have educations they paid for us and put real work in, and they want real information, real media, real this, that, and the other. And y'all make a goddamn joke and mockery of it all. They also know what real damage you all cause. But, and then there's a lot of the talking head pieces and big ass news organizations who are willing to use you motherfuckers to be first at whatever you can find, but they know you all are clearly doing through illegal means of dirty money moving, but they're willing to take that risk. And, I guess, right? So, but they still fucking hate you too. In a way. But real ones, they don't like you guys much. And they would like to see a day where you go the fuck away. Entirely and for good. Because, well, they want to be real reporters and journalists and not, you know what I mean? They think y'all, I mean, like, look, if you're about anything real and genuine and this place and creators, they make you sick in a real quick hurt. And, so anyway. But watching out there, I watched the news, and they were like, oh, and they were interviewing all these douchebag goofballs in the chair, all three of them wearing black out there like Nimrods, acting like assholes, tormenting the neighborhood, clearly not being good people. Nobody wanted them there. They were told get the fuck out. All the things, right? They'd be looking like a bunch of goofy bastards. All three of them out there. They try to make you all think are a whole ass crowd in the neighborhood, and they do that in every case. You ever notice that? They're like, oh, the neighbors and all the community disproportionate. That's the fucking wackadoodles they bring in from all across state or area, sometimes that are nowhere near. It's like getting a Don B or somebody up here to be like, I'm a local and I support the tragedy bit. Bitch, you ain't local. What the fuck? You know? Type of shit. You see what I'm saying? Or you get the aliens who go cross country or do whatever and they're tragedy pimp loyalists. Whatever the fucking stupid might be, you know? They throw a t-shirt on them. They're like, oh yeah, here's a fucking sign and marker to stand beside Bullhorn. You'll be famous. Can I get your autograph, Dolly? But they get dumbasses like that. Shout, yay, we're locals. They were. Meanwhile, what they ain't showing you is a fuck ton like in Quentin Simon's telling them to get the fuck gone. They're protesting against them on the ground. They don't want them there. They don't want them in the neighborhoods. They turn everybody, all the little old ladies, dying over there in Quentin Simon's neighborhood, and the parents with special needs children are being bothered by him, and their baby crying music. The real neighbors traumatized, re-traumatized by what they were doing out there, were crying baby noise. All of them were telling them to get the fuck gone. That's when all, like, finally the tragedy pimp thing on there. Like, tragedy pimp's gone, but they weren't like near none of that shit, were they? You know? And then everything. But, anyway, like these neighbors, you watched Dolly's douchebag buddy, hit the floor over, right? You watch him torment and terrorize fucking neighbors and shit. Like, get the fuck on, you know? Y'all had a good time, you're fucking entertained, I guess. This shit ain't even cool. And then what do? Oh, you start making everybody look sus around the neighborhood. What if you know? And then anybody that speaks out of the world does start knowing about in the communities, whether it be witnesses, neighbors, whoever else. Oh boy, they'll build them into the storyline for you. Or tell you how evil or awful those people are, you know? And then those people might go back into their houses and shut up, or might not this, might not that, you know? And so, see how it works? Yeah. And the power of social media to destroy those people's lives for going against some beloved creator with a whole fucking whopping 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people. Thing is, that can do damage. It can destroy their lives. But, y'all are like, oh yeah, fuck them, fuck this, and then y'all participate, and it does, and can destroy, and so those people are just like, fuck it, we'll go on and just let tragedy pimps do whatever, right? Which is really taking advantage of real people around the world here on social media, and through this method, into building something no more than a play or an enactment. And then it affects real media, real law enforcement, real cases, and these people cash in on it. And they decimate and destroy. Anyway, thing is, I watched as the news, one of the pieces ended, and they're like, yeah, neighbors, we interviewed. And then I caught wind over here through titles that Dolly's supposed to be on the news that night, and they were interviewing, da 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 da. And then those 3 idiots in Turtle Gang shirts are they're like, oh my gosh, we're gonna be interviewed. I'm like, oh, freak bags, out there screaming minute 4, we want justice! Bitch, it ain't a CSI episode. Shut the fuck up and go back where you come from. Quit being a freak bag. You look sad and tragic to real people around. It ain't CSI, bitch. Go on, So anyway, but I watched this real news. Like, yeah, we talked to neighbors and interviewed them, and they're out there, and they're so upset by the situation, and knowing the ones that said that where a bunch of Dolly's douchebags and otherwise have been brought in just be part of the circus thing and then get their faces on YouTube or where I'm like, y'all know you can just start your own. You gotta be like, oh, I gotta find some around. Let me find a dollar. You know what I mean? But you always find weirdo types. Those were not immediate neighbors. And I know damn good well mainstream knew that. I knew those journalists knew that. But in order to have a piece to go to air with, to even be able to mention that child's name or the case, they had to have a new angle, so maybe views would pick up on their news station. So there they are, in a way, putting out their own bullshit in order just to get eyes on the crime. And then having to use tragedy pimps, much like they do in Summers, in order to do that, even though none want to. But here they are, and in a way, it's not very honest to go, oh, these are all neighbors, and they just want their community back at peace. Yeah, neighbors is apparently a real broad term. Or community members. Or whatever the fuck. Right? And so if you say that, and that resonant builder language, is it really like that? But yeah, like, it's like, man, those weren't the immediate neighbors. You know, they weren't the immediate anythings. Go interview the pissed off guy that wanted to beat the shit out of the I fell out and hit my head boo boo guy, right? Go interview that neighbor and see what he thinks about it. That'd help tear down a tragedy pimp and keep the crime at the forefront of the public's mind and news station. That'd be like, look what a fucking detriment it is. I've been telling y'all for years. Years. These motherfuckers, they cash in on missing and murdered and da 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 da, which is not cool. But like, and you all, but and then you've got a whole lot of people that do have talent wasted, in my opinion, here in true crime. You have the filmmaking types that want to be this, want to be that. They actually want to be in real journalism, filmmaking school, making TV shows, doing what it is. Dude, your best bet is to actually gear towards outing tragedy pimps. And I don't mean that sad ass pathetic way of the fucking, what's her Yahoo ass over here just played in this hero stuff and shouldn't have done it. But it has always looked a little cleaner, but it's obvious it ain't. And then like the Olivia's, like, you know what I mean? No. Look, I'm telling you, you could make better stories that were real and for real good purposes and be able to keep these cases that still need attention on the faces of the missing and murdered, you know, in good ways, and to keep justice going for them by law enforcement standards, not by tragedy and pitchfork standards. You can do that by actually outing the tragedy groups, the criminal organization it is, the methods in which they use. You wouldn't even have to script write the shit or anything. All you'd have to do is tell the fucking truth. It would be a work of non-fiction, obviously, but it would make the whole world aware. It would make journalism better, media better. It'd mean those interested really in true crime or crimes, they would start getting access again from real law enforcement, pressers, families, witnesses. You know, more legit information coming out from the communities around these crimes. It would mean changes for the better, and you tell me. I think that would make a longer lasting show. TV, book, series, whatever. than whichever case y'all are trying to, like Molly and Justin did on Quentin's or this or in a pilot. How long can it last? You know what I mean? Like, and the goofy shit and do whatever. Right? And mostly get yourself famous for, I mean, couldn't you do good in the world? And it actually be more fulfilling for you on a soul level and good for media, journalism, the truth, light, true justice, information highways that are legitimate and sources again. Wouldn't it help cut off a lot of the criminal shit that's circling the globe and what's hidden behind all this shit? It's funneling through it too. Do you know how far you could actually expand something like that? And how long lived it could be as opposed to something very short? Right? I know drama sells that, but in that you would have the intrigue and the drama, but it would be legit in real terms. Do you understand what I'm saying? You get it? I know you do. It ain't that hard. And I know I'm over explaining, but I think most get it. Problem is, a lot here are afraid of the very things that it would take to get that done, or how these creators or others could destroy their lives and careers before it could ever take off. Or how they could be banned from this earth unless they did it very, very, very quietly. You know? But I do know that even throughout summers, there's always real lives watching. They probably do have plans on gearing up for things like that. And also others that watch to try to get something done about this realm and criminal activities and all that shit in it too. So, I've always been around. But, yeah, I don't know. Either way, it's basically Occam's razor. It's always there right in front of you. But if y'all got to come on our legs from 9 to 5 or what it was, you're more susceptible to, and propaganda and other. For years, you've listened to everybody around here's like, everybody knows, so it's like, yeah, I mean, to a certain degree, people know everybody always can find it. But this whole thing about, the dates and starting dates on it, what they never wanted you to come to the conclusion of, figure out in a real quick hurry was that, wait a minute, this team was already built or coming up again, and it put down the other channels they'd used to communicate in Boswell's. And it just happened to be those dates right before summer. And, you know, uh, so dates and times, that's why. There's nothing conspiracy about it. There was nothing, everybody's linked. Oh my god, so and so was involved with whatever and then kidnapped Summer and all that shit. And then a lot of that was actually them scaring, blackmailing out in front of the world, terrorizing those people into non-existence they used the shit out of in Boswell and Summers to get them to shut up, to go silent, to be afraid, scared, or well, they might be left holding the tragedy pimp bag, eh? Or ferreted it out, so they shut up and did the whole skirt away thing, right? And even law enforcement, they might not tell it, and just take whatever's coming. Or has already, or whatnot. So, it's that simple. It's always been that simple. It's always been that simple. Now, what we're gonna start airing the fuck out are a bunch of receipts on some of your biggest tragedy pimps and the proof that, yep, they were doing that. And they were eyeball deep to Giraffe's asshole in Boswell's. And so many other cases throughout so many of the years. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And I'm telling you, you're gonna be astounded. You'll be shocked. So shocked. Now, what should shock you more is these experts or these X things or I don't know, whatever, that wanted to come along and, well, any of these cases really, especially Summers, it seemed like, grab a bunch of local criminal junkies committing crimes, whatever. Records, they have all the shit, right? Probably attempt to use those in the shittiest, I, I, I got me a group of CI level shit you've ever seen. Know it was out of bounds, right? Know what the fuck they were doing. Cause like, but they always too keep buffers, don't they? That why they have plausible deniability. Somebody else can take the hint, wink, nods to actually run the merry band of worst criminals on the ground or the worst mid or shit stained true crime YouTubers. And then your experts and your big boys over here, at least you all, can be like, but there are some of them were so stupid they had all the little criminals holding wrenches and things. And then they got up to some dirty shit and tried to get evidence of their dirty shit swiped and cleansed away and their involvement in it. And I gotta tell you, I don't know any real experts who would do such thing because they would know that'd make them culpable and then, you know, it's just whatever. It's a hell of a tool bag, huh? And if you're a true ex anything, attempting to be a tool bag and work your little way into fixed reputations or looking still like I just, you know, the thing is, it's not the only one. There's so many of those. You know, they play oblivious to the. I mean, they have their favorite little web sleuths and helpers and team members, of course, that they'll select. You'll see favoritism. They know they leave most of the work to those, right? Those little partners, pick me's. And then they turn a blind eye what they're doing, but they know it's coming down to this shit stain extreme criminal sector. They know the links and how far and intense in real life they go on people, but they play like they're oblivious to it. They're all clean above board, and that way they can be like, hands clean, and they can sit there in front of you and be like, no, we don't go real life at all. Is there resume language, right? But over the years, I watched so many of the higher turns do that shit. Still doing it. A lot of them is they got built up throughout several cases. There, it looks like. I mean, essentially they are what they, I guess, spent their careers and things, supposedly, enacting justice. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're no better than, well, criminals, turns out. And they're fully aware they're using other criminals to do extreme shit that's illegal. And they are fully aware, probably more so than anyone, considering from the things they're ex this or retired from that or whatever, right? They're more aware than anyone would be of how wrong it is, how that would decimate and actually harm and fuck up cases, and they are, fully aware of how that could keep justice, how it would affect cases more than anyone else, right? And how they're helping, and they are. You can't say they aren't. They're helping criminals do very criminal shit on the ground and go real life and extreme. They're propelling it. Therefore, they're causing crime. And they're causing harm to real people, real destruction to cases. You think that's because they're ex or expert this or this era? They just want a little cloud, a little fame to visit an HLN, News Nation, do whatever, right? Yeah, I'd say it's for that. Or for their own needful thing, or their fame and fortune wherever, right? For the most part. Clinch reputations, fuck, I don't know, retirement money, hell if I know. Just depends on all of them. But there are certain bounds, and they damn well know. You can't just be using criminals that are gonna criminal to get what you need. Like, bro, if you get a criminal to be a sort, like, you can't let them continue to criminal or ask them to criminal it up or know that they're in active use or this or that or the other. Or, you can't be doing all that. I know some of those are well aware of that. Therefore, yeah, I don't know what kind of tool bag they'd be talking about right here. And how this realm could be used for good or whatever if you use it. Really? Nah. No, it looks to me like you're being a criminal with a bunch of criminals. Fully aware of those criminals and that in your name and for you, you've got a bunch of goddamn criminals on the ground, trashed out their gourds, fucked up, will and dealing, committing more criminal acts and going extreme real life on and around cases, and you're fully fucking aware of it. Where if you have helpers, cleansers, buffers, bro dog, panel boys, whatever the fuck it is, right? Whatever you're wearing when, I mean, these dudes and gals are not unaware of what the fuck they're doing, and from where they sit, they're fully aware. And no, no, you can't be doing all that. Which is why I'm certain, for the most part, because every day you have to wake up and go, shit, please God, let it be a real toolbag. Somewhere in there, let it be a real toolbag. But it can't be possible with all the crime occurring, and that they're aware and helping in, and the shit they're willing to do to human beings in and around cases too, to the degree they are. That's not allowed and it's out of bounds. And they would know, like I said, better than anybody, how that could be used by defense or prosecutors, civil case, all these things, and how it could easily fuck up everything. And, like, just if it came to be known how much tampering, criminal activity, how much real life and extremes are going on, by then there are merry bands of weasels, criminals here, how much money's flowing, what it's actually funding, not just in the U.S., but across the globe, and how it's touching hands with politics, extremist organizations, and funneling real crime. Yeah, you wouldn't probably catch an expert of any kind on there doing it. I mean, They know. They know, therefore there's like, man, better than anybody they know. But they, much like the rest of y'all, hope on those buffers and pieces and things each of you use and the goal bit and all that. And laws and tech and time and whatever, Just hope for everybody to be like, well, this is all new, you know. And then for breaks to happen, and then for this group to start again inevitably when arrests or verdicts or whatever come, and then to try to overtime. I mean, like, it's just one sick, just non-stop cycle of parasites. But I think what makes me the most sick every damn day is that there are these, I don't know, in my opinion, they're pretty shitty and looks like pretty shitty at what they did before they moved over here. They probably wouldn't be here in the first place. But, at their career types, and then, doing what they're doing at. And it's like, man, can somebody just get on, like, News Nation and just, like, face plant them into a damn desk and cuff them on national news? I'd probably die happy to see that. Just don't mask. Just, you know. Like, they got an ex whatever being a dirty, filthy fucking criminal running criminal rings over while pretending to be oblivious. Like, fuck that. Yeah. Kick the studio door in and arrest him on national TV. That'd make my day. Right. Yeah. Maybe if they did that one time, maybe everybody else's buttholes get tight enough to be like, oh hell, the rest of that experty fell up there for that and shit, all the thousands that have ever been helping in this case, that motherfucker. Oh shit. And then maybe people would stop that, and helping them some bitches go, but that's what you're doing. You're working from lowest to bottom near these little other shit stains, like, I mean, you all know who visits those panel circuits regularly and wants up there the most, and who wants a special on TV shows. Like, man, that's what you're doing. You're helping get them up fucking places to be even goofier and stupider, and then to bring people back to this realm to get used and scammed and conned and fucked with by a bunch of other criminals helping criminals. Who the fuck wants to help that? Nobody. I was just ugh. The last thing you should want is these some bitches. You know? Can I help you, Dan? Seems rather on topic this morning. You ain't in here all that often, are you, Deanna? I mean, I see you around the rest of the blocks. But why this morning? And why that comment in the middle of things that didn't match? Why that question? And you know what I think about the new age progression photo summer? I think that if the feds and law enforcement say to share it and that's what to go with, then I'd say that's what to go with. It's not about my thoughts on it. It's about what law enforcement says what they put out for summer. That's what I say. I do wish, though, that they'd always include an image of her on there somewhere. I've heard time of disappearance too. Though that way. Yeah. Covers all bases and all possibilities and all the years, doesn't it? But, let's say go with law enforcement. I guess you weren't over here when I shared all the actual news articles and TBI pieces and stuff the first few hours I come out. It's over on the community ball if you'd like to check out the real sources and grab the real flyer for and the real information from real information sources. Like real news and law enforcement. So anyway, y'all, I just sort of wanted to touch on that this morning. Sort of leave it there. Uh, like I said, we're gonna invite. I don't know what I said weird. I guess I'll be able to actually give a shit out there. But we're gonna have a little outing session for some of the bigger boys and players and Summers and so many other cases and those all coating together, especially around here from Boswell forward. Now they all link together and all their big boys and in between. And damn sure the team. I think I've had quite enough. How about y'all? You're just gonna be amazed at how many big ones, so real life in so many cases, and how many got their little channel starts and start up new ones to go on with, for the next case Roswell in this area, and just all the things. It's amazing, folks. It's fucking amazing. Who all was involved and how many still are, and not just in Summer still from it, but in Sebastian's, Layla's, and Holland's, and beyond. Far beyond, right? Heroes, others. But so many. Their little start, their little super coating began and was built from Boswell's. And I swear, just in the realm of all things fucking weird, that y'all remember the whole Becky Smiley thing? That is still something that perplexes the hell out of me. I still don't know how the fuck that was happening, but the things that thing could have destroyed, and that thing even brought up Boswell, and knowing that they had parts still in there to do with Boswell, the fucking absurdity. Like, I swear I went back and forth over the years, and I'm like, like, every now and then I had to be like, man, like, I know that the tech capabilities weren't there to feed through voices or to mimic all the shit, but I swear I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, that can't be real. That still can't be real. You know? Um, no, DM. There's really none. I mean, at a certain point, they all become aware of what they're part of, what they're doing, how they're doing it, why they're doing it, how it's destroying. They've all gone to such extreme lengths that, in real life, and torment and blackmail and crimes and dirty bullshit to know. Some are just, nah. Anyway, thing is, just, I wake up and I'm still perplexed by that down there. I'm like, and that it happened not once, but multiple times. And that people kept jobs and everything else. And I'm like, how in the flying fuck? You know. And could it have been, honest to God, man, like, even still, I don't know how that existed, how it still exists. I just don't. It's fucking mind blowing. Mind blowing. And that a soap eating, pathetic tragedy pimp talking extreme sexual stuff, all this crap they were doing is the one to do it, and then to be the one inserted and handed the reins over to Trigger Chris, real good in there, and all it with Emma and the rest, and all the things, the exact playbook style, and to be handed those reins, and then see that one do exactly what, you know, Lips and others have done in court settings and all this shit. And to be handed reins over and to do that shit, so I just, makes you want to just, And also for it to be a little cursed, like going and tormenting all the wrong strippers for all the wrong, we don't know. It's a hot mess. It's always been a hot mess. Why are all the extreme crazies like that too? Like, they have a banner on them, don't they? Watch out for any that build their own little dinette or anything, or start going and buying clothing just like mine, especially, or lip gloss, or doing weird shit, or eating soap. Or trying to, I don't know. It's been weird around here for years, and a lot of those. And I'm not kidding. I'd love to see them that conceders. A lot of these motherfuckers, they already built aim at us, right? But then it didn't help because they really want to be frenzies because they really are batshit insane anyway. They have their own issues. And then I think a lot feel entitled, and I don't know. It's how they make friends in real life, which is what's real scary. And which is probably why they're alone and on the internet. I don't know, okay? Because people can probably fill it off of them just like a lot of us can, even through boxes. It's like, hell no, there's something wrong with this one. But they really think people are going to become real friends or something with them. The hell? I ain't ever been built like that. Like, I ain't trying to be nobody's online anything. I don't give a shit what platform it is. So, yeah, they get turned down, turned away, like, you crazy. Go on somewhere, you know. Clearly, this is not trustable. Yep, shit. And all shit. And then they really turn into, like, rabid, already deranged, weirdos, and they start doing weird, real life, cliche bitch, psycho shit. But it's like they get real mad. that you won't be real friendsies with them, though that's not the intention. And they just go fucking real batshit. You know how many of those I have? I've got a whole fan club of nut jobs that then use that as an excuse to go further extreme real life on and eat soap and do weird shit. Like I said, this week I heard there was like praying mantis timelines that added up. There's always something fucking weird. You know, somebody dyeing their goddamn hair like, or doing whatever, or saying certain shit in the background. It gets back to me, or some recording of them, and some goddamn screenshot or text messages, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. Some of these bitches really do still want to be my friend. And I won't allow it. That's why they've gone so extra bad shit insane, other than what they were directed to be, and whatever. Some of them turned that way because they refused to be, though they had no good intention to ever be like that. I mean, like, it's a little psychotic messy, okay? These bitches are freaks, man. Fucking freaks. They need to. Somebody needs to care about them enough to make sure they're 12-stepping or taking meds or something. I don't know. Therapy, we don't know. In their daily is what they need. So maybe they can go outdoors, get a real friend, and stop terrorizing people. Being weird and eating soup and shit. But yeah, that's been a constant throughout the years. Got like a whole fan club of them. Obviously, y'all know about more than a few. Then there's some that are just like demon fairies in the background and messengers and chat under 600 names, or working 4 accounts in one chat at once to try to catch my. They crazy. Crazy. Thing is, there's always batshit Fruit Loops like that, and otherwise, in all the cases, or in all the people, you know, whoever they latch onto that they like or whatever, and they want to be friends with or info from, and then if they're denied or turned away, boy, they fucking go woo out there on them, you know. But then they also love them at the same moment. It's like, come here and let me eat your face. The bigger the teeth with my dear, you know. It's like, ah, salt circle, salt circle. Can I get one of those stat? Morton Salt doesn't seem to be doing them. Want to get that Himalayan shit. You know? Some fucking holy water. Some actual acid or something. Anyway, but that exists around so many in each of these cases too. Just latched on woo-woo bat shitters. You know, you get weirdos of every kind. Motherfucker will be like, I come sleep in your driveway. You know, like the Pipers and others. And I got like 9 of those. Have since, you know, they figured out our fucking lane. You did all the things over here and all that stuff. And across all these platforms, and in our real life to get it to, it's like whatever. But yeah, they've been trying to camp out in driveways wherever we are. We're trying to get me to move into their houses. Being like, oh, slide over everything, my name, my house, my God. Do you instead of my children, if you and your children just come live with me. Bitch, you are scary and no. And don't ever do that. And off of that shit, baby. I gotta stop. Here, tell once, twice, Ernie and Scamalina did that to people, and then she tried to skirt away from all like she was no part of it. There's been more than a few creators do shit like that. Don't, people, do not offer anyone around anything or ever anything like that, let alone over in realms like this Roma. I don't care how much you like them, I don't care how bad that, don't do that. Okay? Yeah, it is, D, and I really had several. Be like, well, my kids are well taken care of. I'll just sign everything over. You can come live, and it's a blah blah blah, and you can have the whole house and everything. And I'm like 98. Be like, ma'am, stop that. No, and shut the fuck up, and don't ever offer it again. Can I have your children's number and your grandkids' number so I can contact them and tell them you're online offering shit like that? Because obviously you might need an overseer for your estate before you get taken by, I don't know, Scamalina or any type. Stop that. Yeah. But yeah, can't tell you throughout the years. I mean, you're like, oh, you can come live with us or me or what, just to get you in. Ma'am, I don't know you. Feel like damn Bobby Hill on King of the Hill. Bitch, is my purse. I don't know you. You know? Fuck away. What? You're weird. Stop. You know? Like, I get some people actually do have good intentions. But no. That's weird. And as a responsible, like, well, you just gonna. And to be around something like this and think you're not at risk of harm or people just want to run you for info or around your children, but not just that. That's a complete stranger, and you want me to bring my kid where? Like, homie, you realize that, like, some are vanished, and, um, you know, as of yet, we don't know that was responsible, and also, it means somebody's still perpetrating or doing or whatever. Also, on top of that, uh, look, people can make, like, the amount, like, people can do anything crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and you don't look like that's gonna put my kid at risk of moving with a stranger. You know. Now, I mean, I guess we all know Candace will do some shit like that. She'll meet a Kathy and be like, yeah, or whoever else. Hell with all that. Hell you say. And you have to know people like that. They only want something from you, man. When you're one of us, that's mostly what it's all about. And then to feed it off somewhere and to do whatever, get famous right about. I don't know what the fuck. I don't care, but you know, man, I got babies. You know, I their daddy was a fuck is, and bad nothing like barely. We all barely survived that about a billion times. Still trying to survive it. If you're little and whatever, you know, well, man, it's another story. But like you still have to deal with that motherfucker. Ain't this crazy place? Tragedy films, something like that. Lunatics across the world. Do I look like I'm gonna put myself in harm's way? My family, children, yeah, like, bro, as a mom, that'd be the least smart thing you could do. Yeah, let's uproot and go to the stranger's house and just move in. Like, no, bro, ain't gonna happen. Like, bitch, I don't know you. You know what I mean? Like, that's dangerous. You ever know what person's gonna, like, chop you apart with, you know, the fuck? It'd be like, I've got Jody Sue collected in a jar. And look how many PAs and smelly and weirdos around here. Heather Wayne's like, bro, does this seem like being safe in a world full of that shit? Hell no, ain't nobody got time for that. But like I said, some people out there, I'm sure they're well meaning, they're genuine. I know some are, but you know, throughout the years, but I'm just like, no, I'm good. And some do take offense to you being like, no, I'm good. You know, but it's like, and they don't quite understand the concept of something, and they know they're just being genuine. But yeah, there's been people doing crazy shit, and I know that. Anyway, but there are some people on here that do have true art stuff and that are very susceptible to those, like the massive artists, like, you know. Nick and Ern and others, and are taking my rides. And hell, you got what's her name over there, even though she's a creator. Her whole ass got like a tattoo now of like some Doug shit on her arm. She's going to explain in a couple minutes. There's somebody like, and then he's like booted her to the cat. Where's she at? I mean, she's still alive, I think. But like, bro, you really got that. And really thought there was gonna be something there with that dude. And that he was gonna move here. She's here in Tennessee, I think. And he was really gonna move her. And it's there, and it, like, now you stuck with the whole ass tattoo. You're still distant from it. I feel bad. You know. And there's so many like that around there. Those that are. Then they help those like Doug and them with the extreme real life and propaganda and the shit that's detrimental to real life. And that becomes a problem, especially when. But a lot of them are stuck in those realms where they having to see that, recognize it, come to terms with it, to realize what they've played in, maybe even without realizing it. It's very hard. Some it takes time. Some of them will never come to that realization because they don't want to feel that sense of discomfort, unease, or guilt, or whatever, and to own it. So, like, it may never happen for them, but or that they were taken advantage of in that way. That's going to be what's most harmful to them is they were susceptible to it. Felt like those love scams and shit, and I'm a prince of whatever, and I love you, and just send me whatever, and meanwhile the whole village is living wonderful, and like all this shit, right? You ever see those poor women up there with even Dr. Phil's stupid fucking evil ass? Because he's a piece of shit too. I'm not a big Dr. Phil fan. Never have been. But anyway, and I mean never. I'm talking about since him and Oprah and the meat fight went on and all that. I'm just, Dr. Phil sucks, okay? Anyway. You're saying like some of those TV shows, like they come up and they're like, no, and their daughters or whoever else or family, grandkids are like, now look here, Grandma. You're being named for a ride. We've tried. You're decimated. You've spent dead granddaddy's money on. This dude over here does not love you. He's not even real. They can even show them all the evidence of how they've been used this year, and they can go send out teams of true experts to show them how and every step of the way, and they're still in denial. Because it's harmful and it hurts to be think, and you can be taken advantage of in that way. And how it's, so it's more comfortable and easy and easier to, and all that. I don't think I have to explain all that in this realm. Most of y'all should know that. And how, the psyche and all that works. And all the things. And just on a human level. And most of y'all, your interest in things out in the real world or shows or types of things y'all watch made you aware of how all these, things work. So I don't think I have to over-explain there. It's weird, though, being in this realm. I know a lot of you are aware of these things, and y'all modulate and take all these deception detective decks and true crime dick modules and whatever the fuck else, right? And you're well aware, but you only think of them in terms of Websley, you're aware of cognitive dissonance, you're aware of, all these things, and how they work in order to use them to solve cases and shit. But can't quite turn them in, figure out what's being done to you all to make you all do this for some of these groups or for yourself, or that you yourselves inside of this realm could be used by these creators, other top tier motherfuckers you might think are super extra duper duper law enforcement, working with super duper law enforcement, or this, that, and the other, and you're really doing good deeds for all these missing and murdered. And, or not realizing that a lot of your tribes that are formed around here are based on what you say and little things you give away to others who are modulated investment names, people who are very skilled at this to work together as carnival barkers. Watch what you're saying from chat to chat to chat and follow you each down. Figure out what you might have, and to pull your records too, as easy as you all help pull everybody else's around these cases, and to know what you have or what you don't, or why you might be worthwhile, or to keep over here and make you feel whatever it is they need to make you feel to keep you susceptible and jelloed up real good for their creators to take advantage of, or for you all to be the ones that drop the mass amounts or become investment quality whatever's or milk cows or and never even realize that part of your tribe you think you found over your friends are not that. They're people that are used in these chats, y'all, by these creators and by this group. Because that's what they're doing. Make no mistake, every day, almost every chat, every time, there's going to be that occurring. It's a group that's worked well together, plus they get new ones all the time, or people who have sunk that low to those levels, or who are building up to the wrench level, this level, whatever level, blah blah, top tier, super deck, private, extra tier, gets calls their precious creator once a month, weirdo desperate sons of bitches, whatever, right? But there are lots of people around here with degrees that, from actual schools and shit, who sucked at that shit in real life, but then are like, fuck it, or they just want to stay on, play video games, play online, do their thing, and chose to come online as and use their psychology degrees as their failed shit, but knowing just enough to help with. I mean, do you know how much money they bring a man every day? Probably does, obviously. And what they split every day as they do this charity, y'all. Yeah, I mean, like, and some asshole sitting in the basement of Cheeto dust, and you think they're whatever to you, but they're helping creators and they're helping. I mean, they're here everywhere amongst you, every day. Make no fucking mistake about that. The internet ain't so much, and that's the thing. The hell posting on the community wall, right? Because half the time nobody reads those things, and unless they're drama oriented, um, if that's what, and that's another thing that should always stick out to people. All of these here in this sector of true crime, in this shit stained pool especially, and it's so vast, right? But y'all ever see them working cold cases? No, you don't. So, but they care about all missing and murdered, right? No, you see them gear up to people who are missing minutes and hours and are high profile. And they select their cases based on looks too. They select cases based on criteria much like the predator of most of them will. Based on looks, storyline, all this, whether somebody's in a bad environment, good environment, especially children, man. The way in which these creators pick is probably the way in which predators pick their, especially children, and victims, or if they're strangers or whatever. Obviously, parents and those familial and familiar to those children be different criteria. But yeah, I mean, they pick their cases like a stranger on child crime, but they, you think anybody really needs their help, or cops out there screaming, we want, yeah, screaming around, we want justice now within 3 days? No, nobody needs that. Do you think within a couple weeks, even, police or anybody need themselves so inundated and their steps so followed and cameras on them and jailers jumping out necessary to push off real investigators, real dogs being able to use, and not being able to be out anywhere investigating on the ground enough time because tragedy pimps are filming them doing this, doing that, hopping up behind fences and out of bushes, and that interferes with their investigation and the work they're doing. And then they get rid of the investigators on that. They get rid of the real search crews on the ground, and they insert whatever replica version of tragedy helper search group, PI, this, that, and blah, 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 exists that will work and operate fully with YouTube, make money for all that. Advocates and bullshit, no mind. Do you think any actual case that fresh, any missing or murdered persons case, then minutes, hours, and days in just the first few weeks needs any tragedy pimps on the ground or people out there with signs go, we want justice for this baby? No, they don't. No, they don't. And that should always be your clue. And yet, there are actually, there's some, and I will call some of them experts online. They're retired, they're this, that, and they really do. They'll go, but what you'll see them concentrating are real cold cases. And in that, they can actually help law enforcement and communities and bring forward justice or find people. These search crews and things, they want to go out and look for on their own time. And those who dive in things, for these cars or where it might be in locations for sometimes decades or the remains of them shit, that could be a beautiful thing. We've seen that. Alright? And recently, as a matter of fact, the past few days. There are others that can be done. But that's not what this realm is about. But there are real, even, what are their names? Oh God, today I'm not going to come up with it. Oh, the ones that, that's the Mind Hunters, right? The original ones, FBI profiles. They're retired now. They're allowed to do whatever the hell they want online. I've even seen them touch hands with ink gun in them over time. But they're retired. They can kind of cruise where they want. But, they are aware of this for what it is too, make no mistake. But some of the best channels I've seen them on are some that are with other experts. And there might be 4 people watching. And they're working through cold cases with them, and in a mindful, heartfelt, true way, and touching on those. And in that way, that can be helpful. But y'all, McDonough's doofus ass is over with a whole ass fucking foundation he's mostly over, and a bunch of dipshits like Moselle that are known frauds pay him dues, and he'll let them do whatever and sell their books. But they sound good on paper, right? Anyway, now, he's around a whole place called the Cold Case Foundation. But yet he's only stuck on my profile. or redundant shit like John Bonet or whatever. It's just like, make that make sense. Or in every case that dude's involved in, he wants your all's help. Or, I'm sorry, I'm gonna back my wording up. Somehow this realm starts screaming almost immediately and before even a year's up around certain experts here online that they would like things declared this, or the propaganda will start up saying a case has been declared cold, or maybe tampered enough with that, I don't know, it's closed or no leads, and then somebody declares it a cold case, and then it can be maybe poofed over to a certain place. I'm not sure. But, yet many, but you'd think it's my associate or something like that. It would true cold. But yeah, you won't really see that in this realm with anyone. It'll always be the brand new alerts, brand new this, brand new that, high profile. Nobody needs their damn help in. Nobody's screaming, "We want justice," and here's our painted sign, and we need JLR in a ditch with a poster stat. And then 3 days from now, we're going to need him on the boulder, painting his face some color and sucking off a Mountain Dew bottle and doing hell Hitlers, you know? Like, give me a break. Well, they all funnel money internationally in other ways throughout these couple states. It's fine. Ignore it. But anyway, to extremists realizing propaganda in all the realms, true crime, politics, governments, scams, I mean, it's like, you know. But yeah. So, yeah, nobody needs any of that shit. And nobody around any of these open and active or high profile cases needs people, web sleuths, or strangers across the world hunting them down or making contact with either. Nobody. 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 Nobody needs it. Just because social media is there and it's so easy to look somebody up and then be like, well, they're online. I could message them with a, "I love you, so and so. I pray for you." You know, I, and I get it. There are a lot of people that might do that for good reason. Because they really do care. Me, it'll always be, we're agree with her, you know, but that would be my first thought. Um, some people's it is, though. But I know social media is there, access to people, records, you know, it's all out here on all this. But these days, everybody across the world. But that doesn't mean if you see somebody in the worst anything ever that could happen to them, their family, others, Iran, you know, whatever, that you should be web sleuthing them, whatever. But there's a difference between web sleuth varieties too. Make no mistake about that. But there really are some that work with law enforcement. They have whole things about it, but like competition shit. Problem is, nowadays that's becoming dicey too, and it almost needs to be cut out because a lot of those are getting just as dirty as what you see over here, and they're getting off the pet and zoo ride rails and go Lavar, you know. So I just, but yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, problem is, I think it's hard for people to have a lot of these, hell, even when I find it, still, it's amount of mass chaos is there. And as you catch up with the tricks and the methods of whenever these people, and within hours and days, it's like, that's what they've been doing. You know, one step around, it's like, fuck. And then I think, like, a few days ago, I was like, God damn, this is some fucking bullshit levels these people are going. You know, and then they just really pissed me off. Someone should have told them, gave them fair warning. Be trying to blackmail, make people look certain. Oh, fuck shit. Shit they did. Let people become aware. Some of them might just get a little pissed off. Promise to hunt you to the ends of the earth. But, anyway. And just, you become aware that, and it should have struck at first like, well, you think certain things at first are like good ideas, even beyond the tragedy pimp aspect of it. I was like, well, maybe it is a good idea for help getting polar. Maybe it is a good idea for this or that, or maybe there is still true help around here, or a real expert, or somebody can help us unlock other things. But then you realize there's really not. You know, and that if LA wanted, they have them and do at their disposal, but also, you're like, yeah, there's nothing good these motherfuckers are gonna try to get from you here, or pretend they're doing good, and it's just always gonna be to use one of us to sell to you and for content, or to pretend for you all, to take you all in for more ride, that they're doing something great in Summer's case, or Sebastian's, or Layla's, or Holland's, or whichever case it's on. Petita, you know, I mean, there's been some. Yeah, you come quickly upon the knowledge that they're up to no good to that level. But then you realize that anything, even if it could be good for anything around the cases, no matter what, if these motherfuckers are involved, it could fuck it up, make it unusable for anything except their content or further destruction of the case, communities, families, law enforcement, justice. It just, you know, and that it's only and all about them, no matter how they try to say on the no, but it's about the babies and this and that. No, it ain't, man. And now I don't give a shit what expert around here tells you either. It ain't so. It's for them, man. And so it's like in most days, I mean, shit, there ain't much I wouldn't give for certain access, certain tools. So, and not for myself, in the least, but for Summer. Whatever might be there. You know what I mean? To help put wherever it needs to be put, whatever, if anything needs to be put anywhere. But that way, if everything are, and I hate to think like this because it really bothers me, but it's like, man, everything from the beginning should be gathered in a way and all tools used and da da da. Just to make sure, and in case of, and that if anything has to be open, closed, and this and that, and especially as more and more of us, you know, died around Summer's case. Just so things are left. So if other eyes have to come in, they have a pretty good idea their stories. I mean, I think they do already. I think they always have. I think they have pretty damn immediately. I firmly believe that. Maybe they didn't like chaos. I was, but it's a little different and a little harder to see. But and then with what was done to us and how it was done, all these other things, and by whom, involvement, and local ties, all this stuff, just the amount of chaos you cannot imagine. And then these tragedy pimps and hunters, and then living near dickwads like Candace and Dawn and Fred and Laura, and then Andy up to, I mean, it was absolute insanity, dude. And don't even get me started on Lost Calculator. Bullshit, so. That particular area of fuckery. But, whole thing is, I know that if they ever wanted that, they'd come get it. They'd ask for it. I mean, anything from us, and they know they'd be giving it. And obviously they haven't, and also obviously once they realize a certain thing, like certain things weren't allowed, for us to do, or severe and extreme tampering by team took place, one or the other, right? And say both. But when you have, it's like there are certain experts, man, that exist. I became aware of some of these by watching shit like Star Talk and shit, wildly enough. It's like, holy shit, that's a profession? That's a thing? You know? It's like, that sounds just like what I need. You know? But there are only a couple of those that exist around the entire world or country. One is actually pretty close to us within a couple hours drive, wildly enough. Go figure. But if I went towards something and then I was like, wait, I need to check this out, like I would anything else, see how this goes. If ever anything's needed by court, or how this could render things ineffective or whatever, right? And so I went doing my research. It turns out I can actually do things. So if I went to that to try to get help to unlock certain ways in that fashion, though these people are types to be used by law enforcement and stuff, it would mean certain things. So can't really do that. And then a couple times I've heard work like different types of experts throughout certain stuff. But once again, it falls under unless feds allow this, that, and laws, how things can be used, and all this shit, and how it could render everything null and void, but it's like, I just wish there were certain things I had access to, and I always will. And if it comes to a certain point, I will go on my own and because I am actually sick, y'all. My time here on this planet is fine. So I don't know. And obviously, heart attacks will just come out of nowhere, too. And because of the shape of everything else, so, like, that's always sort of been part of what drives me as well. It's like, man, You don't know. You don't know. And as I've watched more and more die around all of us, um, for me, it's important that anything we hold that could at some point mean something to the right eyes or experts or something that could be a thing or to other community members and aired out one day on some fucking real cold case shit or something, or anything like that, if God forbid that comes to that, then it's there. It's fucking there. To help her. To help someone. Even if some of us are far gone from this earth. But it'll be there. And really when I wasn't supposed to make it out of that road, man. And even I didn't think I'd be alive for this long after. And I think a whole lot of motherfuckers thought that as well. And one didn't just want it, but expected it, and did not expect me to still be here. Firmly believe that's true. I know it to be true. I know it to be true. So, anyway, if it comes to a certain point, I will actually access and do certain things as far as I can on my own. On my own. To get those things done and leave them in whatever way, and if possible, and hopefully be able to do enough research by that point to see what order they need to be done in, so one thing doesn't delete or cancel out another, or render one thing this or that or the other, or all that, right? I must have missed that one. The woman or child was named Renesmee, like the child in Twilight. I guess I could see that being alright. Alright. So, should have knocked on wood, I guess. I don't know what the hell that was. Whoo! Anyway. Oh dear. I think this is my cue. Oh, yeah, must be. Must have. Magical spirited out of my ass, that psychic ability. Damn. Alright. Oh dear. I don't know, Deanna. There's so many every day at this place, and I just. And I know, like, 7. Fairly busy lately, and I don't catch up with all of them or stay on top of all of them, so. Maybe one I missed, or I've just not realized I've seen, and. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I invited the devil in. Is what I did. I talked about it too much. That's what happened. Holy shit. Alright, y'all. I think that's my cue this morning. I've done talked things into existence over here. Holy shit. Oh, yeah. I don't even know. I couldn't tell you what that particular giant goddamn pain is. But it's something coming from somewhere. So, anyway, why does it keep giving me that damn stupid shit notifications? You gotta be kidding me. Between that and whatever. Some goofy shit in my phone. That one anyway. Some sort of entertainment. Like celebrities and shit. I gotta figure out how to do that. I think I touched the wrong button somewhere. Like old people. Oh yeah. Alright guys, I'm gonna have to go. I've got to. Random internal pain sucks. Yeah. Good news is I don't think that's my heart. It's totally different area. So I don't know. Yay! That's called winning. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Anyway, we're gonna go marching onward, right? And those days, and whatever else carry on, I guess. And whatever method or whatever I feel like, essentially. As always, I suppose, or whatever distracted squirrel casserole Duke's mayonnaise way I feel like, or suits me and stuff. And whatever health allows. Now, Ernie, I may need you to pull like a lassie in a well maneuver. You just looked at me like you're right. I'm a cat. I don't do that. Anyway, y'all, I'm out of here for the morning. Y'all have a good morning, good night. Watch these streets here in these stupid boxes. They're dark, deep, and nefarious as hell. And watch what you're buying right now from which creators, and probably fuckery from on the ground too. It's happening again. Oh no. Content cycle. Anyway, and worse. Absolute destruction on purpose with intent cycle of many. So, watch what you're buying. Anyway, and who you buying it from. But y'all enjoy the spec, the vast cosmos, the dance, storms. Your favorite fuzzy critter. Say hi. It's like I'm not saying hi this morning. He's over. Can you tell I don't feel good? He's moseyed right on after my wedding. He does, he was asleep. Seems starting to keep eyes on me, talk to him, and he's like, oh, I know my mate feeling good. So he's gonna say, this is his version of 911. You'll see her make biscuits and purr about it. Your little, kitty frijoles, they're cold, sir. They're cold. Alright, guys. I'm out of here. As always, please share the DV/Universal Hand Signal for help. Continue to share Summer's picture, information, and call her by her name. And y'all know what I mean by real information, and that doesn't even that does not include any of our dumbasses around us, okay? It means law enforcement, real journalists, real state police, TBI, FBI, real news sources, alright? Real journalists. Not talking head shit either. Alright? So, and keep that in mind for Sebastian, Layla, Holland, and all the others as well. And perpetually, no matter what case you see these tragedy event monster criminal organizations working and weaseling and clawing its way into. Alright, y'all have a good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever y'all are. Enjoy the dance, the rodeo. Spec. Much love, guys.